नमस्कार दर्शक मित्रों। थिंक लाइन के आज के नए संस्करण में आपका फिर से स्वागत है। बहुत दिनों बाद हम आए हैं, प्रयोजन से आए हैं। विल टॉक इन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी बोथ एंड टॉक ऑन अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट सर। आप जैसे देख रहे हैं मेरे साथ दो बड़े बड़े गेस्ट हाजिर हैं। एक तो है एम्बेसडर दीपक वोरा जी, दूसरे हैं सीएसए के डॉक्टर आदित्यन जी। दोनों से हम बात करेंगे हमारे पड़ोस वाले एक बच्चे की हिमाकत की। बातें बहुत करता है, नाटक भी बहुत करता है। तो मैंने जानबूझ के थंबनेल के ऊपर हिंदी हेडिंग लगाया है, पाकिस्तान की कुटाई। यह कुटाई शब्द बहुत समझ बूझ के किया है। और मैं ये दोनों से बारी बारी जानना चाहूंगा कि हम जो क्या कर रहे हैं वो ठीक कर रहे हैं। आर वी डूइंग इनफ और डू वी नीड टू डू मोर? बिकॉज भारतीय जो है, राष्ट्रवादी जो है, उनको ये बहुत हो गया अभी। और वो भी धर्म पूछ के कत्ल करना। हिंदू है कि नहीं, you know, having a proof of that by putting the pants down, it's a bit too much. That needs to be answered in the way they understand. Let me make it very, very clear here. हम लोग राष्ट्रवादी इकट्ठे हुए हैं। राष्ट्रवादी इकट्ठे हुए हैं मतलब ये नहीं कि हम कोई जल्दबाजी की बात करेंगे। We are not impatient like, supernatural Hindus. Sorry to say that, but some of us have lost the patience. But it's just 10, 12 days. General Monex, my guests will tell you, my elders will tell you, he took 6 months. And then it was just a 14 days of war. And you know what happened? Bangladesh was born from East Pakistan. ऐसे कहा जाता है कि नरेंद्र भाई को, यस मैं प्रयोजन से बोल रहा हूं नरेंद्र भाई को, क्योंकि हम उन्हें नरेंद्र भाई कहते हुए आए। जवान थे तब से नरेंद्र भाई कहते थे, आज भी वही कहते हैं। हम मिलते हैं नहीं मिलते वो बात अलग है। वोरा साहब को जानते हैं। नरेंद्र भाई को खिचड़ी को ठंडी करके खाने की आदत है। अब ये बात समझने की बहुत जरूरत है। दूसरी बात एक साइकी की बात है। घर में जो बड़ा होता है ना, द वे इंडिया इज बिग इन द सब कॉन्टिनेंट, बड़े की ये आदत हो जाती है। और कभी कभी जरूरत भी होती है कि पहले बार ही कोई बच्चा, इफ सम किड commits a mistake, you will put your hand on the shoulder and say, buddy, don't do this. दोबारा करता है वही बच्चा तो उसे जोर से एक थापट मारते हैं, जो हमने सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक से किया। और तीसरे बारी जब वो बच्चा वो करने की हिमाकत करता है ना, तब उसको इतना मार मारते हैं जिसे हम कूटना कहते हैं। उसका हाथ तोड़ देते हैं, पांव तोड़ देते हैं, नाक तोड़ देते हैं, जड़बा तोड़ देते हैं। एंड दैट इज व्हाट इन द नेशनल टर्म्स इज हैपनिंग राइट नाउ। हाउ कैन यू से भारत इज नॉट एट वॉर? वी स्टार्टेड विथ वाटर, someday we release the water, someday we stop the water. 24 crores of Pakistanis do not know when they will get water next. Then we cut off their social media. We made those YouTubers and those, social media, which were thriving on Indian rupees, the paupers. 80,000 views, 1,20,000 views become, well, 4,000 views, 6,000 views, 8,000 views. And that is what it is. I'm giving you factual description. I'm not going to come in between these two people after that. But a few more minutes for me again. And then we do that blockade stuff before squeezing them out with economy. अरे भैया, जो 30 रुपए के आलू थे वो दुबई से जाके तुम्हें 300 में मिलते थे, वो भी बंद कर दिया हमने। उनकी एयर स्पेस बंद कर दी, ट्रांसशिपमेंट फैसिलिटीज बंद कर दी। हमारा विक्रांत कहीं अरेबियन सी में है। क्या हो रहा? आर वी प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर समथिंग वेरी बिग? We'll understand that also. Today we have about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. So I will not come in between my guests and you, but start with a simple question to Ambassador Vora, sir. Sir, in your career as a diplomat, did you face a situation? And what Modi ji and company, including Amit Shah, Jai Shankar, Rajnath Singh, what they are doing, is it the right way out for a machhar called Pakistan? Sir, welcome to all.
आभारी हूँ सर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपने मौका दिया आपसे बातचीत करने का, आपसे सीखने का। आपका ज्ञान तो बेमिसाल है। मैं रहा हूँ उस एरिया में, 6 देशों में भारत का राजदूत रहा हूँ। एंड आई हैव सर्व्ड इन 7 other countries, so I know when a crisis is brewing. I've seen it, sir. 5 years मैं सूडान में था, जहाँ गृह युद्ध इस समय चल रहा है। अब मैं आपसे कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ बाय वे ऑफ प्रीएम्बल। उसके बाद हमारे मुझसे कहीं ज्यादा बुद्धिजीवी हैं, डॉक्टर अतिंजय जी, वो बताएंगे। ये जो मुसीबत मुल्ला मुनीर है, इसको स्ट्रेटेजी समझ नहीं आती है। ये जीता है मिडिल एजेस में। ये हर चीज में कुरान को मिस कोट करता है। आई स्पीक अरबिक एंड व्हेन दिस गाय कोट्स द कुरान आई कांट अंडरस्टैंड अ वर्ड ऑफ द नॉनसेंस ही इज सेइंग, क्योंकि पाकिस्तानी को भी नहीं पता क्या बकवास कर रहा है। पहली चीज, ये बलोच फ्रीडम फाइटर से लड़ रहा है सर, बलोचिस्तान में, एंड ही इज लूजिंग डजन्स ऑफ सोल्जर्स, एज यू नो इट बेटर देन आई डू, एवरी वीक। दैट्स हिज फर्स्ट वॉर। फिर ये तहरीक तालिबान पाकिस्तान से लड़ रहा है, खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में। Many of his soldiers वो कहते हैं हम वहां जाके नहीं लड़ेंगे। That is his second war. फिर सर, जो अफगानिस्तान में है, the actual अफगान तालिबान, वो इसकी पिटाई कर रहे हैं and he is using air power against them. That's his third war. फिर ईरान में एक बसी हुई है जैश उल अदल, the Army of Justice। ये भी एक बलूच सुन्नी मिलिटेंट सेपरेटिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है। इसको भी हो गए हैं 15-16 साल, और ये भी ठोक रहे हैं उसको, because they operate in the Sistan and Baluchistan province। अब सर, इसका मतलब 4 जंग तो ये पहले लड़ रहा है। इस गधे ने अब एक 5वां फ्रंट खोल दिया भारत के अगेंस्ट। द मैन इज एन इम्बेसिल। द मैन शुड बी सरेंडर्ड और टेकन समवेयर एंड पाकिस्तानी शुड हैंग हिम लाइक दे डिड विद दैट स्काउंड्रल। क्या नाम था उसका? पेरी मुशी मुशी कोई था इनका लीडर। वो जब उसको हटा दिया तो वो देश छोड़ के भाग गया था और वहां पे दुबई में शराब पीते पीते मर गया था। नाउ when you are deliberately provoking 5 wars with a sinking military, with a navy that is no match for India, with an air force that is no match for us, what are you trying to achieve? Now, I'll tell you what he's trying to achieve. He wants the people of his country, मैं उनको बताना चाहता हूं कि देखो, भारत हमें बहुत तंग करता है, अब मैं आ गया हूं, मैं टाइगर हूं, मैं अल्लाह का मैसेंजर हूं, आई एम द न्यू मोहम्मद, करो जो करे, मैं दिखाऊंगा इन लोगों को। अब एक गधे, तुझे बंदूक तो उठानी आती नहीं है, और फिर तो ये बकवास करने लगा कि मैं ये करूंगा वो करूंगा अगेंस्ट इंडिया। नाउ दिस इज वेयर दिस इज द ले ऑफ द लैंड एट द मोमेंट। ईरान के साथ भी आजकल तो बहुत उनका ब्रदर सिस्टर, इस्लामिक देशों में बहुत होता है, डार्लिंग डार्लिंग, मेरे भाई मेरी बहन मेरी बहन, और फिर एक दूसरे पे मिसाइल्स फेंकनी शुरू कर। क्वेश्चन फॉर दोज वाइजर देन मी, will Pakistan ever reconcile to the fact that it is no match for India? No, it will not. क्योंकि जब उसको बनाया गया था, एक गधा होता था, मोहम्मद अली पिन्ना मिन्ना जिन्ना किन्ना, ऐसा ही कुछ नाम था। उसने कहा कि हम नया मदीना बना रहे हैं, दुनिया की सबसे शक्तिशाली देश हम बन जाएंगे, ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा। किसी ने उसकी बात नहीं सुनी। 1 साल के अंदर, क्षमा कीजिए, टीबी के कारण वो चला गया अपने। आजकल, उस समय तो 72 हूरें मिलती थी, आज थोड़ी कम हो गई है। मुझे कैसे पता है कि देयर इज टोटल कंफ्यूजन इन द पॉलिसी सर्कल्स इन इस्लामाबाद? हम इसको कहते हैं द forgive me, my throat is packed up. I've been on TV. I've got my medicine. तो ये क्या करता है सर? We call it the insanity of insecurity. इसका जो राजदूत है वॉशिंगटन में, वो भी एकदम एक नंबर का गधा है। I know the fellow. तो वो जाता है और न्यूज़पेपर इंटरव्यू में कहता है, पाकिस्तान कैनॉट फाइट इंडिया, इंडिया इज मच बिगर मच स्ट्रॉन्गर, सो चाचा जी, डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प जी, बचा लो मुझे, मैं आ रहा हूं आपके पास, आपके जूते साफ करूंगा, खाना पकाऊंगा, आपका बाथरूम साफ करूंगा, बचा लो बचा लो बचा लो। ये एक तरफ कहता है, दूसरी तरफ वो जो गधा है ख्वाजा, जो भी उनका डिफेंस मिनिस्टर है, जिसकी कोई सुनता नहीं है, हमारे पास इतनी ताकत है, सारी दुनिया को हरा देंगे, हम ये करेंगे, हम वो करेंगे। डरे इसलिए हुए हैं, दे डू नॉट नो what India will do and when. Sir, if I may quote Dr. Adityanji, my favorite quote from my favorite actor, late Rajkumar. हम मारेंगे तुमको जानी, बंदूक भी हमारी होगी, गोली भी हमारी होगी, वक्त भी हमारा होगा, जगह तो हमारी है ही। Now they are terrified. They don't know what we are going to do next. और कभी एक डिवीजन को यहां से वहां, I haven't mobilized my troops, मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया। वो कभी यहां से हटा रहा है, वहां से हटा रहा है, फिर कहते हैं कि वन ऑफ दीज इडियट्स कि 24 और 36 घंटों के अंदर भारत हम पे हमला करेगा। टाइगर तेरे
अब
को
ये
किसने
रात को
ये
2 बजे कहते हैं, दर्शकों को बताने दो मुझे। सर ये
सुनिए,
डर तो बड़ा अच्छा है।
नहीं, शराब पी के कह रहा था। सर क्या होता है, इसको हम इन डिप्लोमेसी कहते हैं, क्षमा कीजिए, प्रीटेक्सटिंग। प्रीटेक्सटिंग का मतलब होता है यू इन्वेंट अ थ्रेट, आप आविष्कार करते हैं एक खतरे का, और फिर आप खुद ही कहते हैं जी मेरे कारण खतरा टल गया है। तो आप कहते हैं कि भारत हम पे हमला करेगा, फिर ये ख्वाजा आसिफ शाह अपने इतने इतने उसके डोले हैं, देखे मेरे डोले, भारत डर गया मुझसे। अरे हमने कब कहा था हम हमला करेंगे? These fellows have completely lost it. I will hit you when the time comes and we'll do what we. Then he goes running to the UN Secretary General, वो कहता है अंकल मुझे बचा लो, मैं फंस गया हूं। So the fellow calls, he speaks to the prime minister. This एक बफून है, वो बदमाश है, अपने आप को शरीफ कहता है। He's no more than a चपड़ासी. He has the level of a driver or a peon or a roadside cleaner in the Pakistani system. उससे बात करता है, हमें फोन करता है मेरा विदेश मंत्री, the best foreign minister, external affairs minister in human history, Dr. S. Jaishankar, from my service, 5 years my junior. He speaks to him. फिर मार्को रूबियो फोन करता है, वो अमेरिका का सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट, माय एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर टॉक्स टू हिम। मैसेजिंग देखो। और फिर जब वो इस्लामाबाद फोन करता है तो वो उनका कोई फॉरेन मिनिस्टर है, वो उसका नाम मैं भूल गया हूँ सर, जो भी है उनका फॉरेन मिनिस्टर, तो वो फिर ओ हाँ, बड़े अजीब सी शक्ल वाला है, तो उससे बात करने लगता है, तो ये बदमाश शरीफ फोन खींच लेता है उसके हाथ से, मुझे बात करने दो। फिर उसको कहता है सुनिए मिस्टर रूबियो, मेरे अंकल डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को बोलो मुझे माफ कर दें, मुझसे बहुत गलतियां हो गई। कुछ दिन पहले उसके डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने कहा था कि हमने 30 साल तक सारी बदमाशियां की थी अमेरिका की बेहाफ, आतंक को हमने प्रमोट किया था। इस समय वो कहने की क्या जरूरत है? सर आप तो बताएंगे हमें क्या हुआ है, मेरी ट्रेनिंग 52 साल की ये है, ये क्यों हो रहा है, ये सब चीजें क्यों कह रहा है? बताना चाहता है अमेरिका को कि आप अब जो हमने आपके ऊपर एहसान किए थे, नाउ यू काइंडली रिडीम the trust that we had placed in you, but it's not working. So there is no such thing as loyalty in international affairs. Sir, अगर आपको लॉयल्टी चाहिए ना अंतरराष्ट्रीय मामलों में, तो बाजार से एक कुत्ता खरीद लो, आपको लॉयल्टी मिल जाएगी। So now we are looking at a situation where they don't know what to do. They are totally confused. आज रात को देखना एक और प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस, हाँ जी वो भारत की 300 हवाई जहाज आए थे, हमने एक पत्थर फेंका, वो सारे वापस चले गए। Now, for so many years, they have been feeding this snake oil to their people. और वो गधे पाकिस्तानी आवाम, वो they are swallowing all of this. Why does Pakistan hate India? Ask them. Will they ever change their mindset? Not in 50, 500, 5,000 years. Not a chance in hell. Sir, give me one more minute. I've spoken more than I should have. But हम लोग, we are, shall I say, devotees of a man called चाणक्य। Can you see his book here, sir?
Yes,
The
sir.
Chanakya Niti? Right. क्या लिखता है इसमें? When you deal with an adversary, 4 steps. साम, दान, भेद, दंड। साम होता है persuasion. 193 सदस्य हैं संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ के, although the UN is still alive, although it's dying. So 180 of them fully support us. That's the job of diplomats like. फिर आता है दान, इकोनॉमिक मेजर्स। वी हैव टोटली आइसोलेटेड देम। याद है जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी ने कहा था हेकड़ी आपकी खत्म कर दिया, हाथ में कटोरा देके भीख मंगवाओ। दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग। एंड डॉक्टर तिरंजानी, इन अ फ्यू डेज फ्रॉम नाउ विल बी एन IMF मीटिंग टू कंसिडर रिलीजिंग द नेक्स्ट ट्रांच ऑफ $1 billion फॉर पाकिस्तान लोन। वो तो भीख मंगे हैं, और मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि उनको ये पैसे अब मिलेंगे। इसीलिए डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को चाचा, अंकल, मेरे अक्का, मेरे गुरु, मेरे माप, मेरे अल्लाह, सब कुछ उसके पीछे लगे हुए हैं कि भी उसको मत रोकिए। अगर उसने रोकना चाहा तो वो रोक सकता है। So what we have is a deadly cocktail in Pakistan: vicious military, foolish government, and a hopeless people. Chanakya's eternal recipe for disaster. So साम हो चुका है, दान हो चुका है, then comes भेद। भेद इज डिसेक्शन, कंफ्यूजन इन एनिमी रैंक्स, वो हमारे इंटेलिजेंस वाले कर रहे हैं, एंड दे आर ब्रिलियंट एट इट। एंड फाइनली कम्स दंड। जब समय आएगा दंड देने का, फिर हम इधर देखेंगे ना उधर देखेंगे, ऐसा मारेंगे, एंड दैट्स द ओनली वे। क्योंकि अगर इनको एक सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक कर दी, ये कर दी, ये फिर उठेंगे, फिर जहर उग लेंगे। सर, सांप को आपने देखा है ना कई बार, तो उसका जहर उसके फन में होता है, इनका जहर इनके मन में है। यू कांट रिमूव दैट फ्रॉम देयर ब्रेन्स, ट्राई एज मच एज यू वांट, हार्ट्स एंड माइंड जीतेंगे, ये एरंड नॉनसेंस, आप कुछ नहीं जीत पाएंगे। आई अपील टू ऑल दोज हु वॉच योर शो, please permit us to eliminate Pakistan, break it up, and do a favor to mankind. Pakistan's survival as a terror state is of no benefit to anybody. Its destruction as a terror state will be no loss to anybody.
Okay, तो एम्बेसडर साहब ने तो बहुत सी बातें बता दी. Now I'll go to Dr. Adityan ji. Adityan ji, the basic question now here is, the message was given very clearly by Narendra Bhai Modi from the soil of Bihar, and he gave it in English. He made it very clear to the world that we are going to catch the perpetrators of the crime, their planners, and their akas. And we are going to punish them this time. We are going to severely punish them so that they don't come up. Till this date, 75, 77 years, we have been very soft to this particular state. They have the guts and the gumption to say we were doing this on behalf of Western powers and USA. But they don't say that. They took millions and millions of dollars for doing that. So they never did anything for free. They are a state which is a rogue state and a rowdy state. If I use the word rowdy for that. Now in such a situation, what do you foresee the punishment coming? Because see, we are taking our own time. When India did a surgical strike, it took 14 days, 12 days, 12 days to be precise. Now we are doing, right now I am getting a news that our air chief has a meeting with Narendra Bhai Modi. So things are starting to move up. We have upped the ante in last 24 hours. What do you foresee? When do you foresee the kinetic action taking place? Because kinetic action, my question is, kinetic action is always required for the optics of the nation. देशवासियों को देखना चाहिए कि इनको हमने मारा, सीधी भाषा में कह देते. ये जवाब बहुत जरूरी है और वो सुपर हिंदूज के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है जो पहले दिन से बुमाबूम कर रहे हैं कि आज घुस जाओ, कल घुस जाओ.
Himanshuji, before I come to your question, I would like to make some comments on what has been discussed so far. So the first thing is that I don't like the simile with a child. Child is always an innocent person. The nation state you are dealing with on the west of the border is not a child. It's a very shrewd and very evil entity. So similarity to a child does not
That's
hold.
because of the age. We were saying that.
The second thing is that the similarity to a madman again does not hold. These people know what they are doing. They know, and they always indulge in brinksmanship. And there is a purpose to that madness. That brinksmanship is to invite international intervention. And that is what they try to do. They always try to negotiate with a gun on their head as a strategy. And this has not been the first time they have done it. So those are the things we need to keep in mind, that you are dealing with a very evil adversary. I don't want to steal the word of George W. Bush, axis of evil, but inherently Pakistan is a state born in evil, nurtured in evil, and continues to remain in evil. People have used a lot of epithets for this nation. Whether it is a terrorist nation, there's no doubt about it. It is fountainhead of terrorism. It is also a rentier state. A rentier state will collect rent from anyone. It will sleep with anyone, go to bed with anyone, whether that is United States one day, Saudi Arabia the next day, United Arab Emirates at one point in time, Qatar on another point, China. So the bedmates have changed, but it continues to collect rent to survive. But more important that it is an artificially contrived state that to my mind is a transitional state. Who remembers what was FRY? Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Where is Federal Republic of Yugoslavia? It was a transitional state created at the end of Second World War. There was another transitional superstate, happened to be a nuclear power, and that was Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And it was a transitional state. By the changing dynamics of geopolitics, it crumbled, imploded from within. Pakistan belongs to that category. Yes, it is an evil state. It is fountainhead of terrorism. It is a rentier state, but it is also a transitional state which will not survive. So we are not talking about thousands of years because its own existence is at peril. About what is being done and what should be done, I think people sitting in armchairs like me should not advise the government of the day. They are doing a marvelous job. They are doing an excellent job. All I would say, nothing should be off the table. Everything is on the table. Having said that, do as a rational person, I want a hot war between India and Pakistan. There are two aspects to it. You can belong to a category called peaceniks who will say that, yes, they struck there, you offer the other cheek. So that is one extreme. The other extreme is people who will be saying, let's go to an all-out war, including a nuclear war. I mean, that is sheer madness. The reality lies somewhere in between. There has to be a very calibrated, very heavily nuanced response, punitive response. And a punitive response does not necessarily mean going to war. It may mean kinetic action, it may not mean kinetic action, it may need a multi-dimensional array of activities that will squeeze the enemy nation in a pincer-like movement, and that is what Indian government is doing. There are different categories of warfares. There's a kinetic warfare, we understand. There's an air warfare, there's a naval warfare, but there's also economic warfare, there's psychological warfare, there's informational warfare, there is lawfare, you have cyber warfare, and you have a hybrid warfare. So rather than trying to force the government of the day, either by peaceniks or by the opposition, that would dare the Prime Minister to take precipitous action, making him fall into a trap. I am not going to advise anything to the government, but I would say keep everything on the table. You know, if there's need for kinetic action, so be it. Now, kinetic action does not mean total all-out war. Remember, for 3 years we are having a war in Ukraine. Russia still has not called it a war. Russia has called it special military operations because there are legal implications why it's not being called a war. So Indian government's options are there. There's a wide array of interventions Indian government can do. Will there be a kinetic action soon? Maybe. There are some indications because the Prime Minister cancelled his visit to Moscow and deputed Rajnath Singh, the Defense Minister. And then we hear that Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh has also cancelled his visit and deputed his deputy Sanjay Sheikh. That is supposed to be on May 9th. The fact that both Prime Minister and the Defense Minister are choosing not to leave the nation gives a kind of indication that there may be some kind of kinetic action.
ओके
Issues that
दर्शकों, अभी डॉक्टर आदित्य जी ने बहुत स्पष्ट बताया कि देयर मे बी सम काइनेटिक एक्शन, इंडिकेशंस आर दैट, हमें दिख रहा है कुछ ऐसा। मगर मेरा सवाल ये है एम्बेसडर सर कि ये जो टोटल वॉर वाला कॉन्सेप्ट है, ऑल आउट वॉर, आर वी एट वॉर? सर, वॉर वहां होता है जहां दोनों आमने सामने लड़ सकते हैं। क्या पाकिस्तान की कोई हैसियत है, औकात है लड़ने की? ये तो एक तरफा कुटाई है, मैं ऐसा कहूंगा। और मेरा जो सवाल है सर ये है, गिव मी एन आंसर इन फ्यू मिनट्स टाइम, और वो शेख रशीद वाला पाव पाव का बम, पाव पाव के बम की हमें बहुत धमकियां देते हैं। नाउ डू यू थिंक इट्स टाइम टू कॉल दैट न्यूक्लियर ब्लफ?
We've been doing this for a very long time, sir. 1999 में भी हमने ये किया था कि इसमें दम नहीं है। अभी डॉक्टर आदित्यान जी जो मुझसे कहीं ज्यादा होशियार हैं, ये बोले कि they are not mad, and then he refers to their madness. So I'm not quite sure what is the message you're trying to give me. Sir, मुझे 52 साल हो गए in diplomacy. I'm 74 years young, and I'm still counting my years in diplomacy. We have tried every goddamn thing. We've tried winning hearts and minds. We've tried this. We've tried that. We've tried this rubbish called people-to-people contact. I have no idea what that means, people-to-people contact. And what does that mean? That I go and hug every Pakistani I see on the street? No. What is now happening, we are at a stage in our development, India's race to become one of the 4 topmost nations of the world, where it is hurting this non-state called Pakistan. When it was created, you remember, sir, this buffoon Jinnah used to talk of a Medina and whatever. And now that this mad mullah talks of 1300 years ago, now Muhammad created a Medina, now I'm going to create another one. Are bewakoof? Today people want computers, they want a standard of living, they want cars, they want mobile phones, they want good food, they want good living. And you take them back to Riyasat-e-Medina, tere baap ne dekha tha wo, what life was like 1300 years ago. No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. He has damaged his country. He is sweating. His family has already moved to New Jersey. And I say this on the basis of information. I don't make statements unless I'm aware of what is happening. He himself is planning to run. He was in hiding for a week because they expected that we would hit back very quickly. He doesn't know what to do. He has made one appearance and he's gone back again. He's gone into hiding again. Then there are stories that Turkey is sending this, that, and the other because Pakistan sold all its bombshells and artillery ammunition to Ukraine, etc. May I also point out, Dr. Atinjani, with total respect, that a year ago, a fellow called Vladimir Putin, I'm sure you heard his name, I have served in that area, I speak their language. He referred to the Ukraine conflict as war. He doesn't talk of special military operation anymore. Bar-bar wo kehte, we are at war with Ukraine. So he has decided that it's going to be a war. Whatever the legal definition, I'm not interested in that. No one cares about the legal definitions anymore. Now it's a question of what does Atankistan want? He has always coveted equality with India. He doesn't get it. So he's becoming naughty. He's becoming troublesome. What is going to happen? Can we accept him in his present state? No, we can't. Will the world accept him? No, they can't. Every wretched terrorist incident anywhere in the world has a link to Pakistan. So all this, as Dr. Saab himself said, armchair kind of counseling to the government. Thank you very much. We have some of the finest minds in the universe, in human history. We are guiding the government. They know exactly what has to be done and how it has to be done. Jagah hamari hogi, sir, samay bhi hamara hoga. We will decide what to do with these fellows at the right time. At the moment, let them sweat. They are moving troops from here, there, everywhere. Do you realize, I'm a general's son, sir. I understand what it is to move one division 30, 300, 400 kilometers from here to there. It's very, very expensive. They are 50% of their aircraft are not airworthy. Their ships don't leave harbor. My aircraft carrier is there running around. We are going to blockade it. It is going to be a comprehensive display of India's national power. And this, I believe, is going to it will take time for the Pakistanis to forget what has happened. All this, कि हमने बांग्लादेश बना दिया, हम बदला लेंगे, ये वो, all this is arrant nonsense. The reality is today, May of 2025, now is the time. As they say, it's now or never. Tomorrow will be too late. I know what is going to happen. I don't want to discuss it on a public platform, but now we are all here. We are ready. Prime Minister has met the Air Chief, the Naval Chief, the Army Chief, Chief of Defense Staff. He's met National Security Advisor. Munir is so frightened, this mad mullah, that he has placed his own chap as National Security Advisor. So the distance between Islamabad and Rawalpindi has vanished. The government the military controls everything. A vicious military, a useless government, and a hopeless people. The Shahbaz Sharif is no bigger than a chaprasi, a peon. All he does is carry Munir's shoe polish around and do it. And then he talks big. Similarly with all the other jokers over there. No, sir. Pakistan is run by the military. You can argue as long till the cows come home. बड़े अच्छे लोग हैं, मेरे दोस्त हैं. I heard somebody on a national channel saying, I went to Anarkali Bazaar in Lahore and I ate a jalebi, and the fellow said, अच्छा इंडिया से मैं 10 रुपए नहीं दूंगा. हाँ, कितने अच्छे लोग हैं. 10 रुपए के लिए इस कमीने ने अपना ईमान बेच दिया. They didn't take 10 rupees from him, so what a great country. I hear this kind of nonsense, and it amuses me. I don't get angry. We are not trained to get angry on these things, but we are trained to analyze. What is happening, sir? आप हमें बता रहे हैं, डॉक्टर साहब हमें बता रहे हैं. क्यों वो हो रहा है, वो मैंने आपको बताने की कोशिश की. And I'll be very happy to hear.
We have last 5 minutes. Dr. Aditya ji, a last salvo from you, and then I'll conclude this, because we have about 5-6 minutes only.
So, yes, whatever Ambassador Vora has said is happening, and there is a possibility of kinetic action. Issue is, what are the targets for kinetic action? This would be a wonderful opportunity to strike in what is called POK. You have opportunity because line of control is not international border. Anything you direct in Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Pakistan occupied Ladakh is your own territory. You have every right to take corrective action to deal with law and order situation in that part of the territory. This gives you a pretext to go and take over that part of India that has been under adverse legal possession. And why that is important? Because we don't have land access to Central Asia. If we control our entire territory, we have land access to Central Asia through the Wakhan corridor in Afghanistan. What you also do, you prevent supplies of ammunition to Pakistan through Karakoram Highway, because that goes through that part of Indian land, Indian territory that is currently under adverse possession. So whatever kinetic action
वक्त बहुत कम हो गया आदित्य जी. Sorry to say that, but we are nearing the end. As Dr. Aditya ji said, POK and Gilgit-Baltistan, due to so many strategic reasons, are important. But let me put a caveat here. There's a majority of Bharatiya public which is very, very clear. We do not want 40 lakh jihadis. Let me tell you very frankly, we do not want 40 lakh jihadis with this land. We want land minus jihadis. That's number one. Number two, this time this kinetic war is going to be an all-out war. See, the last war, we made sure that Karachi port burned for 7 days. This time, we'll make it sure it burns for 70 days. There are 7 places where Pakistan stores its nuclear material. These are the legitimate targets. Then there are 14 different places through which their communication, gas, and other supplies are going. The major interlinks. They are legitimate targets. Then there is a big legitimate target somewhere in GHQ Rawalpindi. Plus, you have three which you need to eliminate. So, as Modi ji said, as Narendra Bhai said, I am putting NNT up. We are preparing. We are preparing to take our revenge. Let me put that very, very blindly. No diplomacy, no strategic. It's as simple as that. 140 crore people want their revenge. And it's going to be with the blood of Mullah Munir, Hafiz Saeed, Syed Salahuddin, and complementary will be Dawood Ibrahim. These are the legitimate ones. और हमारे अज्ञात वीर क्या करते हैं? God knows. Maybe things are happening. And things will happen. People might think it is a big talk, but let the world hear that. As Narendra Bhai said from Bihar, let's be very clear this time that the lessons learned this time by Pakistan will never be forgotten. With that note, I'll end this first part. Yes, Dr. Saab. Yes, Ambassador Saab. You wanted to say something?
No,
I would say that I have already said that nothing should be off the table.
Off the table, yes.
But you also keep your cards close to your chest without revealing them. Because
See,
you don't
I may
want
talk
to-
so many things that I want this as a Bharatiya. These are my wishes. Now, what does Narendra Bhai does? Well, we never know. और एक बार कभी मत भूल जाइए, नरेंद्र भाई को हर शाम को खिचड़ी ठंडी करके खाने की आदत है, उसमें दूध डाल के. ये बात को आपको समझना पड़ेगा. अगर समझ में नहीं आती है तो कोई गुजराती दोस्त को पकड़, वो समझा देगा आप. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. That does a lot with us. I thank both of my guests. I'll be out with the second part when some kinetic action takes place. Namaskar. Dhanyawad.
जैन साहब, वंदे मातरम.
Whenever.